Engineer Angel Attah, an engineer from the field of petroleum engineering. Angel Laff's stage name. Angel is the birth name. The English Angel, I have a native name, Abierinyu. That's as an Ijaw man, named a Ijaw man. So Angel, the birth name. So Angel the Laff, Angel Attah, Angel the Laff. The Laff signifies what I do. Pop out. Work. Woo! Love. Kids. There's a Washington. The door. Mayu. First kiss. Married. If I say you go put for trouble. It was harsh. It was tough. I don't want to blame it on life, but on the system. When you're from a polygamous home, you understand when you're from this part of the world. When you're from the riverine, where, with all due respect, most fathers go into multiple relationship, having so many kids, and sometimes they don't sit up to get those responsibilities done. And we happen to be one of such many that are out there, and the number is still growing. So growing up was tough. You live with relatives, from relative to people who are not relative, you know, do all kinds of jobs, including the Ogwaja. All is to get to school, all is to get meal on your table, and we saw all those times, and today is different. Yeah, I schooled in Port Harcourt. Yeah, I started primary school at Holy Trinity Primary School in Port Harcourt. So many primary schools as a result of whoever you have to stay with at that given point in time, so you have to change school. But the last of the primary school was Orevo, in Woji, and after which secondary school comprehensive, Romokrosi. From there to Kanti, Western Aoda Kanti High School. Yes, also to BDGS Yenegua, about 3 secondary schools. From there to the university, River City University of Science and Technology, where I studied petroleum engineering. One of the best in my class. So education was sweet. Growing up, I knew that the only option I have is education, because I went to the site sometime where we do the Ogwaja job, and I saw a young man, paper and a pen. He comes, give you instruction, he walk away, he has plenty of the box of money to pay for the day's job, for as little as maybe 500 or thereabouts as per then. And I asked the question, I said, why is this man having plenty money and he gives us little? They said he's an engineer, and the engineer is to get more money, and the Ogwaja who work from the morning hour to the 9th hour will get 500 or 1,000 or thereabouts. And I said to myself, I want to be an engineer so that I will have plenty of the same money, so people will work for me and I'll pay them. So I realized that education is just the way through. Other than that, ignorance is going to kill you. I would want to say studying engineering for 5 years, to me, I want to call it a wasted time, but the knowledge itself is not a wasted, it's not a waste, rather. Because you see in a Nigerian society where you have somebody studying medicine, and by the end of the day, you don't make use of it. You find yourself in another sector. It's like having round pegs in a square hole. Studying petroleum engineering is a wonderful course, but career came calling, and at that point in time, we have to see that the career over the profession engineering. So it's happening, and it will continue to happen in our society. I've always known I'm going to be a comedian, but back then it wasn't, we don't know it was comedy. We call it injakri. It's a pidgin word, a colloquial pidgin word for people who are funny, you know. Back then on television, there was a program called, we call it Laughing Jackass. I don't know if you remember. You know, they say one thing, it's funny, and people begin to laugh. But I got a mentor with all blessed memory to late Boma Erekosima. I happened to listen to Boma on radio. You know, at a point I saw myself like Boma. So when Boma died, I said, no, I'm going to be the next Boma Erekosima. I talk like Boma Erekosima. I do presentations in school, you know, and I was called countryman because they saw me like that Boma. So when I got to secondary school, I did the same thing and I became one of the best, you know, comic acts in River State. You know, there was a program called Akonaki. It's a medium where they search for talent in all secondary school. You know, I happened to be one of the very best back then, you know. And when I got to BDGSC in Agua, then Bayelsa State was just created. I did the same. The military administrator's wife came to the school, Mrs. Olubolade. When she came, the first lady of Bayelsa State. And my social master said, Angel, you should go do your Boma Erekosima stuff, your countryman stuff. And I did that. Oh yes. You know, she happens to be a fan of late Boma Erekosima. And that was how I saw myself performing for the family support program, then by General Babangida. The wife came up with that initiative. So I did that and I got paid big amount of money there. And I had to go to the market to get the Ababio, the textbook, a chemistry textbook then. I bought that, bought some other books for myself, and I said, wow, this can actually pay. And when the comedy industry started growing with the likes of Alibaba, Michael Bolusinga, Hibo Koko, and name them, and Upper Williams started the Day of 1,000 Laugh. We got inspired and we said, hey, this is the same thing, but in another cover, and we had a switch. No, in fact, we're in a timeline and we need to be very careful about this. Graduating from university wasn't easy because at that point in time, I was building into fame. I started a program on television, you know, I started a program on radio. So it's not like then now you have the social media. That wasn't social media. It was all about the mainstream. So fame began to come. The school activities from the SUG and name them, I'm on those bills. So fame began to come, event began to arise. Something out there is taking the time. Graduating from university was not easy. Distraction came. But because we're focused and we came for a purpose to get the certificate and get it dusted and done, we're able to go through it. Now, some young comedians you have today, some young comedians, the moment they start seeing the 100,000, the 50,000 naira and all that, they find it difficult to sit in that classroom, listen to one lecturer, when at that period of time, or within that period of time of 2 hours lecture, you should have hit about 100,000 or 150 or 200 somewhere in a function. Then you want to abandon that classroom and get to that stage to collect that money. So they struggle between the money and education. And some don't want to even go to school at all. And they believe you can just rely on talent. Talent isn't enough. The kind of comedy you have back then is just to hit you, create the laughter, bring the humor out in you, you know, because when you talk about Danjuma, they happen to be one of the founding veterans of the stand-up comedy you have today. The comedy you have today is educational, is inspirational. It touches so many sectors in the society because you can actually use comedy to talk politics. You can use comedy to talk education. You can use comedy to talk family. So comedy is wild now, and that is why you cannot do today's comedy if you're not read, if you're not well read. You must be exposed for you to fit in for today's comedy. And of course, you see that even in the political rallies and all that, you see them, they have comedians around, you have musicians around, name them. So you can't do the present comedy if you don't have the education. Now, the Nigerian comedy has gone global. You see most of our shows overseas. Like I have my comedy show, Gospel Laff, in Johannesburg in South Africa. They don't understand Pidgin English in South Africa. So you must make your materials in English language, and of course you must study the environment where you're dropping your materials. And if your material does not connect to the environment, of course the humor will not come out. So you can now see that you need to make research. How do you make research if education is not there? So the comedy now is even more difficult than the comedy before, because the comedy before, they never cross the shores of this country. Most of the time, you find them there within a geopolitical zone, and their humor just rests at that point in time. It doesn't cross. It's simple if you make friends laugh. You could just be in the midst of 3-4 guys, and each time you talk, you say, oh boy, you funny. I think you should be a comedian, and it gets to where you're like, oh, come on, I'm a comedian. Making 3, 4, 5 persons laugh is not easy. But if you can do that, it's also not easy making 10, 20, 15 people laugh that are not connected to you, that do not have any relationship with you. Now, it's easy to make people laugh when they're your pals, they're your friends. They could just buy into the humor, now my guy, more encourage him. Then it gets to that point where you don't know any of this person, and you're doing the same. It's difficult. If you walk to me and you said, I'm a comedian, I want to be under your discipline, it's a whole different game. One, some persons might say they are comedian because they can pick a joke that has been said of a comedian and they deliver the joke, and people still get the same laughter, and they say I'm a comedian. Now we have people who lift materials, have good delivery, and the society see them as comedians. In the main sense, they can create material to bring about humor. So now, are you that kind of a person who has good listening ears, who can transpose materials from one comedy CD you watched or one joke that was shared in an event, and you share it on another platform and people could get good laugh? Or you're somebody who can actually think, sit down, think, create a material, share the material, and people get the humor. If you're that person that can create the material, share the humor, then we can now help to guide you. That is where you have to grow. Begin to think about the material you make, the people those materials are meant for, and you begin to expand the psychological balance of your humor so that you can reach certain targets and make it certainly. Comedy can be taught, but you must have the residual talent in you. Comedy is not one thing you can just go to school and say, I want to study comedy. No. It's not something you should just go and say, I want to study comedy. You can be a good talker. You could talk, like a public speaker, and you could get people share humor, and you could pick that humor and share, and people laugh. Does not make you a comedian until you begin to have that talent in you where you can create humor. Because there is one thing to create humor, that is the difficult part of it. When you start creating humor, no matter how small the humor, but the original piece of you, then it grows and you become a master of it. Then you can be under the discipline of people who are there before you, people who are advanced. They can begin to guide your reasoning ability while you still create materials. It's always difficult to remember that first word. But rather, let me drop a material where up to today, material is close to 15 years. And up to today, you go to events and you hear comedians share the same material. You know, young comedians come into the industry and they still share this material. And some of them don't even know that I made this joke. And sometimes when I sit back and I listen to this material shared by other comedians, I said, wow, I would want to say this is one material you will always live to remember for the rest of your life. We're in Rivers State where we have so many ethnic nationalities in Rivers State. I pick so much love for the Ogoni people, you know, and I sat down sometime and I said, it's amazing how the Ogoni people, you know, they name after their children. You know, you hear Barile, you know, another family will come and say, Le Barry, Barry Win Barry, you know, Barry Tuan Barry. Whichever way you position this name, you know, it comes out as a name. And I was watching the television the other day and I saw news in local language on one of our local stations, AdureTV. And whenever the news is made in English language, they have to bring other tribe within the river states to come say those same news so that they can reach out to people who do not understand English language from the rural areas. You know, I listened to them as they come, different tribe, you know, but the Ogoni got my attention. And I heard something like this. Loa e kia dodo ne lebro le apia when no River State Television Authority na apia e AdureTV nya e Port Harcourt e Barilia nya e, that's the man's name, you know. Nya e kia when e Sir Dr. Peter Odele nya na apia when e no governor ya apia when, you know. This is how they share the news, and it got my moment, and I said, wow, this is lovely. So I made materials to connect with the Ogoni people. I made material to connect with the Ikwere people, because there's another set of people I also enjoy. Because everywhere about River State is room, rumola, rumokoro, room. They love room. The Ikwere man love room. And the lady came to me and said, Angel, is not room, it's rumo. You know, I said, what is rumo? She said, rumo means children. So rumola, children of Ola, rumokoro, children of Okoro. Then I asked her, Rum Igbo, children of what? She said Igbo. So which means Igbo has children in River State. And I asked the question, excuse me, where is psychiatric hospital? She says, Rum Igbo. I said, beautiful. Which means when they were planning River State, they repositioned the psychiatric hospital at the right community. So if the people of Igbo, anything happens to their brain, just stroll down to the psychiatric hospital there in Igbo. You know one thing about the Ikwere people, when they are through with room, they enter Oro. They enter Oro. After Oro, they enter one of the name they also mention again. The beautiful thing about the Ikwere people. So we have them all around. Before Bayelsa State was created, Bayelsa was in River State. So you have the Ijaw people. And I'm from Bayelsa State. So I also enjoy a flip of that accent and stuff. You know, you can't talk about the Bayelsa man without mentioning occasion. He loves occasion, more especially burial. You know, I saw a lady sometime in Goa, and I asked her, I said, "Tell me where you up to?" He said, "Hello, I did go burial." I said, "Burial, who died?" He said, "I don't know, but then tell me that the burial goes really well. Oh." That was on a Friday, and on Sunday I saw her, and I asked her, I said, "Tell me, how was the burial?" He said, "My brother, hey, Apo. I don't go burial since they born me. I never see burial way sweet like this. The burial tough. Hey, see songs, people dance well, oh, people sack things, oh, they sup well, oh, and to die go hungry, oh. I say now you go die. That's the German for you. Lovely people, try. We can't take that out, you know. My anger to see that each time we raise a talent from the city of Port Harcourt, they relocate. Why? Because they are not getting the needed support and platform they need. So you see our talent every day will go to Lagos, our talent every day will go to Lagos. And I said to myself, if we also leave to Lagos or any other part, what happens to our city? Someday will come and nothing will be here. So we decided to make a sacrifice and make a standard where you can call the name the club in any part of the world and it holds that same standard. Our concern is to project what we have from the city of Port Harcourt to the world. People keep seeing the Niger Delta and of course River State Port Harcourt as one dead area where the only thing you have there is criminality, militancy, name them. And I said, no, there are a bunch of talent. There are talented people from every sector. And we say, we're going to come up with a Port Harcourt Comedy Club to raise a platform where talent from this region would network with other talents. What makes the Port Harcourt Comedy Club different is we don't only just pick talent within here, put them on the big stage and hit them that way. In every edition, we bring comedians, more musicians, you know, or industry playmaker from every part of Nigeria down to the show, from the A-lists to the show. So when they come to the show, at the bit of the performance, of course they will see what we have here and see how to work with what we have here. And it has worked so big for us. While we're building the brand, we're hitting it so big, we're achieving what we needed. We also decided to say there are certain people who might not be comedians, they might not be musicians, they might not be DJs, you know, they might not be cinematographers and all that. But there are people who have distinguished themselves in other fields of life. Why not celebrate them? Then we decided to put our eyes down and see people who have made exploits in different sectors in the society and would celebrate them on the show. And by so doing, we've had the likes of distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in attendance, the Port Harcourt Comedy Club, the governor of the state, ministers, captains of industry, and of course, it's a home for tourist destination. It's one event, if not the only event year, where you have more than 30% of the turnout as expatriates in attendance. So it's a huge one for us, projecting the city of Port Harcourt and of course the River State as a tourist destination to the world, even as we raise talent from this part to the world. From zero to about 5, because life became so hard from 7 and up. That was when I knew that it was hard. From 0 to about 5, it was sweets. When you're fed with milk, soft food, but from 7, 8, from 9 I started hawking, you know, from 8, 9 I started hawking, from 10, 11, 12, I started the manual labor, the Ogwaja. So those times were really difficult for me, it was hard, you know. So 0 to 5, I want to say I had some meal for free on my table. So that was it. And now it's better off now for me. So if I leave 0 to 5, now I'm living in paradise. So now it's lovely. No, I've never worked for anybody. I've never worked for anybody. Mind you, I happen to be an ex-Nigerian international. I did martial arts. I represented the country, Nigeria. I'm a black belt holder, taekwondo. I also did other mixed martial arts. I did other branch of martial art. Little of kickboxing, did taekwondo, jet kundo. But internationally, I did taekwondo, and I was renowned for my sports. So I never worked for anybody, but I saw myself teaching before I got into university. Extramural classes, chemistry, physics, mathematics, further maths. I did a little of that time, but from school, I've never worked for anybody. Comedy and sports was how I paid my bills all through school and this day. I never felt in my life that I'm going to have a good life. From secondary school, once I was done with secondary school, preparing for WAEC, and I said to myself, after this WAEC, I don't think I can go to school. There is nobody to fall back in the family to say, this uncle, this auntie is going to help you. I just knew help is nowhere. Help is coming from nowhere. I just knew that maybe I would just continue with Ogwaja, manual labor or something, until I met somebody called Iche Martins. I met Iche Martins. He handles tutorials in town, Port Harcourt. And I was watching from the window side where people, the way he handles mathematics, physics, makes it so simple. And I said, I would love to be in this class to learn, even if I don't know if I will go to school after now, And I told him, I said, I would like to learn. He said, okay, but you have to pay. I said, I don't have money to pay now, but maybe if I do some job, I will pay you. He said, okay, come in. I think that was a turnaround. I learned that day. And I'm becoming sober now. I learned that day, and after then, I came back there. He allowed me to come in, and one day I surprised him. I went to his house, helped him to clean the environment, asked if I could do any other thing for him. All is because so that I can, my debt can be written off, and he took me as one of his own. And I was watching him, the way he comes to teach without paper. So I picked the notes. Each time he would teach, I pick the notes. I get back home and I try to consume everything he has taught. And one day I said, I can also teach, from what he has taught me. I looked for a small area rather, where they do extramural classes, and I said, I want to teach. And they said, you're sure you know how to teach? I said, yes. So they gave me a try. That area I read was what I presented on the board. I said, but you're good. Maybe we'll get your service. So I started teaching, and I collect money. They pay me per period. So I will go to him, I will learn, I will come back, I will teach these other people, and I will collect money. By so doing, I started saving. Then I made some money, and I got JAM form, wrote the JAM, I passed the JAM, and of course, I got to the university believing I would continue teaching, also holding my sports at hand. So we became so strong in the sports. We started representing the states, getting payment from government each time there is competitions and all that. And all this money we put together and we get to the university. When I got to the university, my question is, how do I pay other fees? Because of course, year one is always studious. That time I had outside is no more. Then I realized that Taekwondo is a sport in Nuga Games, the Nigerian University Games. And I introduced myself to the sports unit, and they said, wow, we don't have a talent as good as you are. And the Taekwondo in the school then was dead. So I started training people and collecting money from students. So practically students was paying for self-defense and being part of the Taekwondo team. And of course, the teaching parts died gradually because there wasn't enough time to leave the campus, go out there, teach, and come back and face studies. So sports was what was paying the bills now. Sports, all through the early period. Then when we started harnessing the talent, growing the talent for comedy, then of course, when comedy started paying little by little, the rest is history. I would want to say not knowing Christ too early. That is one part. Because sometimes when you sit down, certain things you did growing up, you're like, oh, I wouldn't have done this. So I think the earlier you know Christ, the earlier you're born again, the earlier you have areas you will never regret you ever passed. I've never had too many of the rough parts. I've never had too many of the rough parts. But I believe if our knowledge in the world had been so early, maybe we would have done plenty of kingdom work, before now. So that's just it. If not of comedy, of course you realize that this nation would have been one of a dead hell. Everything that happens in Nigeria is a joke. Today, if you go to Facebook, I saw the picture of the president as a something worker, of recent. Everything that happens in Nigeria, Nigerians have one way or the other to bring the comedy side of it, and I think that's gone a long way to help us, not to disintegrate, help us to still have a little faith in the country. Then, to the mainstream, as comedians have paid so many of sacrifice for the nation, this country, Nigeria. You see, you hardly hear comedians that comes to stage and encourage Nigerians to carry arms against one another. You hardly. Rather, a comedian could come on stage and talk about the beautiful thing about the Igbo people, talk the beautiful thing about the Hausa people, talk about the Yoruba people, talk about the Ijaw people, talk about different sectors, make humor out of certain things, and people laugh over it. Rather, comedians do not incite people to violence. So don't you think that comedians have actually done so well to nation building than even the political class that have used the ideology to even divide us? So comedians have been able to cement a relationship in Nigeria than the political class dividing us. Alibaba. Alibaba, with all respect, is one of the Alibaba or Michael Bolosinga, because these are few comedians that are well read. Apart from the university degree, Alibaba is somebody who does not play with history, somebody who makes continuous research, is somebody that has residual knowledge in virtually everything. There is nothing you ask Alibaba that he does not have residual knowledge from. He's somebody that loves academics. He's somebody that loves books. You get to Alibaba's house, it's a home for library. You know, he has library. He's somebody who always wants to find out why certain things are this way and why they've not been changed in this way, and why change can come if only we can think this way. Is that kind of person with rational thinking ability. And of course, he plays he has that leader role in him. So he's somebody I would want to as a comedian. Although we have some comedians in the upper chamber, in the red chamber. Dino is our colleague, you know. We have a lot of them there. Although they won't come out and say they are comedian, but we know this few. We used to have one too at the House of Representatives, Honorable Patrick. You know, you don't know he's a comedian. So we've had comedians, you know. So that's it. I looked at the life of Martin Luther King Jr., you know, how he was able to fight the oppression, the victimization, the limitation for black people, you know, far back in the US. And he came up with this word: I have a dream that someday our nation, you know, you know, there's the way that stuff goes and all that, you know. And by the end of the day, you hear the sound of music that goes with the struggle. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Wow, for the elderly folks, they will understand this. And the struggle continued, got to South Africa. A young man called Nelson Rolihlahla Madiba Mandela. Mandela speaking to the ANC, the African Congress, and he said to them, I want to say to you, good people of South Africa, that we must take our destiny in our hands. We must fight the white minority that have come to our land to imprison the good people of South Africa. I say to you, whether they like it or not, if it requires us to go into armed struggle, we will, as long as we take back South Africa. You hear the soundtrack. Sayabunga, Bayate, Nkosi, Muguzinyani, Mukuzanasina Kunani. That's South Africa. We came to River State, and the small town in Ogoni came a man who fought for his people, Kenule Saronwiwa. United Nations, we people in Ogoni, we will stand and resist the oil multinationals, and everyone who try to mess with the land of Ogoni with the oil spillage, we shall control our resources, and we shall do this without armed struggle. We shall do this without armed struggle. For today is the black day for the black man. They have a song that went with the struggle. Yes, the political period came in 2015. There came a man from Obiapo, from Rume Preko, addressing people, and he told them, Obiapo, are you with me? We want to tell you that whether they like it or not, come 2015, government house is our own. There came a song, Wikede Komo, Wikede Komo. Yes, so Wikede Komo. You no go agree, you no go agree. You must agree, oh. They have not even said anything. Music shall hold on. I don't even know where you people are bringing this music from. When you cast your vote, do not run away. Stand there and resist them. How many then they? Why we no go win them? How many then they? Well, we're just testing the material. Don't mind me. It's a long one. So The idea is that we're going into the political period, and we must relate certain materials to the political environment, and it goes on and on and on. My family, the one I came out from, is large, very big. If I don't go there, my father was something else, gifted young man, brilliant young man, but plenty kids. I remember asking my mother how she and my father, both of them, had a meet. A Bayelsa woman, with that Bayelsa accent. She looked at me and said, "Angel, my son, oh, you want to know how I gotta meet your papa? Your papa not stupid man, no. Hey, your papa that's it. Now for one burial, for Kolokuma or Pokuma. I don't know who die, oh. Now my friend Tarelana, she call me, make her come now. Now I go see one man, we get a big size, oh. Hey, your papa. It's a big sick waste, oh. That night, call me, say, man, no glass of bad boys, they marrow, though. I follow your papa, go house. Your papa, he like bulukai, like a monkey tail, he's a big mix up, oh. Now so he mix now that night, allow me sleep, oh. Your papa like night visit, oh. Now so we do prayer and fasting, oh. From 9, oh, prayer and fasting, oh, till morning now. Now I go out in the morning, go meet my mama. Tell my mama how I work out. My mama pursue me, say that house where I sleep, oh, make I go back, go sleep there, oh. Since 1980, I don't need sleep for your papa house, oh. He never pay bride price, oh. I don't born more than 8 children for him. Your papa, now stupid man. Just a storyline, I'm married to a wonderful accountant, a master's degree holder. Very soon, she's going to bag her PhD. She wants to be a lecturer. I have 2 lovely kids, Aibai Naingo and Aibai Imi. Lovely kids and lovely home. I don't sense my second child. I know he has been exhibiting certain traits, and I know it's just there in the family. I think he'll be so privileged because the father has gone past that part, so it's not going to be too difficult for him. He's going to learn, and gets better knowledge than I did at the age I discovered that I'm going to commercialize my talent. But of course, they're going to get their degree first. They should have something in their hand, or also in case maybe tomorrow they said, okay, I don't want to be a comedian anymore, I want to do something else, they should also have something to fall back to. So choosing yang zong go jiang go zong we have so chu yang sang go junya AdureTV zong go ya jiang ya zong ya. My name is Angel Attah, comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I host the biggest comedy club in West Africa, the Port Harcourt Comedy Club. I'm here with one of the best things that have happened to television in the world. One thing that have brought about great change, that have brought one of the finest of technology to your screen. A television series, a television platform that you cannot resist. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the one and only, the best thing that have happened to cinematography, the best thing that have happened to the lens, the best thing that have happened to the camera, the best thing that can happen to your event, the best thing that can keep your memory, the best thing, people, is AdureTV.